And now it's time for another lesson in gaming terms with Kaiser. Today's subject, power creep, and how it sucks, but it is unfortunately inevitable. A power creep is when something within a game releases that it completely renders something else meaningless. Normally, this comes in the form of doing the exact same thing as the previous thing. Characters, abilities, items, and whatnot are all things that can power creep other things. The inevitability comes from the lifespan of a game. Regardless of what the game is, there is only so much that can be accomplished within a game, and thus things are inevitably going to overlap. That's how we end up with 57 killers in this game, whose power essentially boils down to, dude dashes forward with a knife. Granted, power creep is something that can be avoided for a long time, assuming the developers take risks, and while behavior has certainly been showing a lot more risk-taking prowess, the near entirety of the D&D chapter as a whole showed a ton of unique ideas with new mechanics and a new way to affect the flow of the match shows that, but even with that chapter in mind, we still got things like kick Jin cause regression with the unknown, and make Jin take less time with Sable, the Troop, and Lara Croft. And unfortunately, chapter 31, All Things Wicked, brought with it one of the subjects of today's video, Unforeseen. When kicking a Jin, put your tear radius on that Jin and set it to 32 meters. For the next 30 seconds, you are undetectable and that Jin has your tear radius. This perk then goes on a 30-second cooldown. This sounds great and unique, except for the fact that we already had a perk like that, it belonged to Pyramid Head, and it was called Trail of Torment. Kick a generator to become undetectable until the Jin stops regressing. The Jin is highlighted in yellow to all survivors. This perk then goes on a 30-second cooldown once undetectable is over. You might already start to see the issues cropping up. Trail of Torment has been power crept in literally every way by Unforeseen. Consistency, power, synergies, and even fucking price points, Unforeseen is far better in every way than Trail. Personally, I'd rework Trail to some sort of slowdown, like kicking a Jin makes the Jin be repaired 10% slower for 60 seconds after you kick it. Wouldn't even need to give the perk itself a cooldown, make it to where the Jin cannot have the slowdown reapplied until the timer is over. This would fit Pyramid Head extremely well. But let's go over why Unforeseen's mere existence plummeted Trail from a middle-of-the-road C tier to a F tier don't even bother type of perk. Consistency. In any video game you play, the things that will be the strongest will be determined by their consistency and value. If the value is high but the consistency is low, then it's not normally very good. If the consistency is high but the value is low, it's pretty crap. But if both are high, then that thing will be put into an A or S tier status. With Trail of Torment, it has pretty high value, giving undetectable is incredibly powerful, but the fact that it can be taken away from you at any given time is what makes it pretty shit. Sure, it's possible for Trail to last longer than 30 seconds, but that probably, and more often than not, will not happen. The Jin is highlighted, so survivors are simply going to go take it away from you. Some counter arguments I've received to this in the past are things like, well, you use Trail to trap the survivors. You kick the Jin and then you wait for him to come repair it. Or, yeah, but it gives you info. To address these points in order, Unforeseen can do the exact same thing. Kick a Jin, then wait for the survivor to come back to it. Your tear radius being on the Jin doesn't mean they won't go to it. In fact, many survivors will simply ignore it once they realize you have Unforeseen, because they will watch you walk away and then your tear radius is still on them. So if anything, it works even better because your tear radius can overshadow the noises your killer normally makes. And on to the second point, there are tons of better ways to get info out there. Surveillance and Caller Brine, for example, are both far superior in terms of info. Surveillance can be applied to multiple Jins at once and works well with Unforeseen. Oh, but I have both in one perk slot, you might say, and like, why do you need that? Why have two effects that are done in a mediocre, inconsistent way in one perk? You are practically wasting a perk slot within itself. It's better to run two perks that do their effects well than one perk that does its effects shittily. Synergies. The synergies for both Trail of Torment and Unforeseen are exactly the same. Basically, any perk that procs off the kick of a Jin. Nowhere to Hide, Pop, Overcharge, Oppression, Dragon's Grip, Machine Learning, Undone, and more all work with both perks that are up for discussion for today. However, Unforeseen once again outdoes Trail by adding 4 perks to its arsenal. While I don't necessarily recommend you combine those perks with Unforeseen, it's important to remember that perks that work on your tear radius, Unnerving Presence, Corlophobia, Septic Touch, and Dissolution all synergize with Unforeseen because the terror radius on the Djinn counts as your terror radius. Also, Unforeseen can combine with Dark Devotion to allow you to place your terror radius in 2 different places at once, and neither of them being on you. It's kind of crazy the more you think about the myriad of additional ways Unforeseen can be used over Trail of Torment. While both have incredible similarities, many things that synergize with Unforeseen also synergize with Trail of Torment, but Unforeseen just has that little bit more. Price point. Pyramid Head is a licensed chapter that costs a minimum of $5. He cannot be purchased for iridescent shards. $5 might not seem like much, and maybe it isn't to most of you, but the important thing to remember is that money is money, and many people spend basically every penny they have on bills and necessities. So because Pyramid Head costs real money, that means the only way you're going to own Trail of Torment is with real money. You could wait around for the scam of secrets to finally have the fucking thing in there, but you'll be wasting a long ass time. On the other hand, the Unknown and its far superior perk can be bought for $5 or 9,000 iridescent shards, which are free. You have to grind them, sure, but still, if you don't have money, then you get what you can get. So once again, Unforeseen outdoes Trail by being more accessible as a whole. Like I said in the beginning of this, I had reworked Trail to make it to where you could kick a Djinn. It has a slowed repair speed by 10% for 60 seconds, with the 60-second timer being applied only to that Djinn. This would make it an easy B or even A tier perk. It's not straight regression, so it's not retreading the same nonsense we've already had, we've been seeing, and it would actually be able to separate itself from the rest. I think that at the end of the day, it's very important that you just kind of understand how strong Unforeseen is and how useless it makes Trail of Torment by simply existing within the game. I know a lot of people really don't like hearing me say that, and some people will still try to argue that Trail has some uses that Unforeseen doesn't, but simply put, no, they don't. Everything that you can come up with to try to tell me Trail of Torment is good for, Unforeseen is good for the exact same thing, and in some cases, even does it far better. But that's all I have for you guys today. Hope you enjoyed today's video, and as always, let me know what you think down below. And as always, a great big special thank you to my channel members listed on screen now. If you want to find out how to become a channel member today and get awesome perks like seeing videos early, merch discount codes, and more, then please click that join button down below. I love you guys so much, and I will see you in the next one. Need more Kaiser in your life? Well, I've got you covered. Check out my second channel, The Kaiser Extras, where I upload full gameplays, stream compilations, me reacting to your Dead by Daylight clips, and more. We also upload a daily short with all the greatest clips from stream. We'll see you over there. Link is in the description.